we always strive to also be educated. So if you do not educate the girl child, be sure that you are raising more illiterates. So, two ways a country can become poorer. If population grows faster than wealth creation. What do I mean? If you have a family of 4, for instance, 2 kids, a father and mother, the father earns 3 million, the mother earns 3 million. That means you have a total household income of what? 6 million, right? Then the per capita income is divided by the 4, 1.5 million each, right? Now, Mr. X says, and Mrs. X now decides to have more kids, right? So in a space of 5 years, they increase Mr. X's salary by $500,000 and increase Mrs. X's salary by $500,000, right? Their total household income is now what? 7 million, right? Now, at the same time in that 5 years, Mr. and Mrs. X now have 3 more kids. They are now 7. But the household income has increased. Are they richer or poorer? They are poorer. The per capita income drops to what? 1 million. So, what is happening is, we are multiplying faster than the country is creating wealth. And as we do that, per capita income will continue to fall. So if you look at Nigeria in 1960, we had a annual growth percentage of 1.99. We were growing lesser than a lot of other countries. But by 2014, right? 2014, our growth rate had increased to 2.66, an average in 55 years of 2.52. So today, Nigeria has the highest fertility, one of the highest fertility rates in the world, which may not be sustainable for our economy. But if you look at it, in the 60s, Egypt, South Africa, Thailand, they all had what? A high growth rate that was bigger than ours. But today, right, their growth rate, because they're constantly investing in education, their growth rate has reduced, with their fertility rate reducing. So, we also looked at, we put the growth rate on histogram to look at what was happening. In the 60s, countries like Britain and Germany were far populated than Nigeria. But today we are 3 times British population and twice German population. Now, what happens when there's explosion of population? There's environmental degradation. You need more space. You cut down trees. And as you cut down trees, what happens? Deforestation leads to more CO2 emissions in the air, which results in what? Health challenges. We need availability of clean water. If you look at the graph, right? Deforestation in Nigeria has reduced from 1990 from 18.93. Trees above 5 meters in height, the percentage of the area they cover has reduced from 18.92 to 7.68. But you see, China, right, is increasing in their deforestation. Nigeria is one of the only few countries, right, in the world, and Indonesia, that deforestation is increasing tremendously. And then, water pollution. Last year, we did a survey, and we found out that about 30 trucks of human waste were dumped in the lagoon every day. If you calculate that, that gives you about 4.5 million liters of human waste dumped in the lagoon every month. Population growth, deforestation, and flooding. Now, there were videos, right, of Lekki being flooded. One of the things that happens is this: when there's overpopulation, you start to look for land areas, you encroach into nature. You encroach into places like bogs, swamps, wetland, and marshes. Now, if you look at the Lekki-Ajah axis, there are swamps, wetland, bogs, and marshes. Apart from the biodiversity and the ecosystem they provide, these factors are called nature's natural water reservoirs. When it rains, as it's raining right now, the bogs wetland, marshes, and swamps. They absorb it until the water recedes into rivers, recedes back into the ocean. So when you sand fill, right, the flood will come and meet you in your bedroom. So increase in poverty. Population growth leads to increasing poverty. We'll look at it. Now, please, I want you to pay careful attention because this is the center of our presentation. If you look at this, all the extreme poverty rates in the world are reducing. But Nigeria's poverty rate is the only one increasing. China reduced from about 84 to 14 in 2008. From India, the same thing. Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan. But Nigeria is the only economy among the largest developing world that population, there seem to be increasing prosperity in the economy. But at the same time, poverty is increasing. Nigeria had less poverty rate than most Asian countries in 1981. All largest developing countries have been reducing extreme poverty. Nigeria is the only emerging economy that extreme poverty has been increasing. 47% in 1981 and increased to 67% in 2008 and 70% by 2010. From 1981, the light green is where all the countries were in 1981. The dark green is where all the countries were in 2008. So as we see our economy is growing, poverty is also increasing. And then from 1981 to 2008, percentage of poverty in sub-Saharan Africa as percentage of total number increased by 83%. The next slide. Poverty is reducing. But poverty 382 million in population. 52.8% of that amount lived in poverty, making 201 million. Nigeria's population was 75.7 million. Nigeria's poverty was 7%. And then that represented 35.6 million. Our share of sub-Saharan Africa living in extreme poverty was 17.6%. By 2011, sub-Saharan Africa, extreme poverty had reduced to 46.8%. And population of 16.7 million. Total living in poverty, 404 million. But Nigeria's share, population in 2011 was 163.8, 70% still living in extreme poverty, representing 114.7 million. And then the percentage of Nigerians living in extreme poverty as a percentage of total people living in extreme poverty in sub-Saharan Africa had increased to 28.4. By 2013, when we were rebasing as the biggest economy in Africa, population in sub-Saharan Africa had increased to 912 million. Poverty further reduced to 41%, representing 373.9%. Nigeria's population, 172 million. People living in extreme poverty, 70%. Now, 120.4, representing 32.2% of the total population living in extreme poverty in sub-Saharan Africa. Our population is increasing. GDP seems to be growing. but our extreme poverty is increasing.